Well, this job just got a hell of a lot more interesting.
Hey, and welcome to my playthrough of the Last Exterminator demo.
Key in there.
This is a game developed by Ironworks Games, and you can clearly see that this is inspired by retro FPS boomer shooters. We're destroying the... Ooh, there goes our van. We're destroying the environment items here, and we're heading out into the back alleys here. Now, I saw a few people playing this a few weeks back, and I was kind of like, oh, you know what? I wanted to give this a proper try and give it a proper little showcase and talk about what I like about it, what I don't like about it.
Man, I only have 3 more payments.
That building's going boom over there.
Those alien bastards are gonna pay for blowing up my van.
Nice little nod to Duke Nukem 3D's opening lines there. So, you can see here that there's a lot going on here, and there's a nice big secret there. I like how some of the secrets in this game are teased through. You can kind of see through the window there, but you can't actually get through. You have to kind of find your way through. I also like how this truck here is very suspiciously placed next to this hole in the roof.
Found it.
So we're going to grab
Nice.
the goodies here. So there's quite a few secrets in this level that we're going to be kind of looking around and exploring as we make our way through. But you can see very clearly that this is drawing huge inspiration from the likes of Blood, from your Duke Nukem 3Ds, and there's a lot of teasing in this level. So as you can see here, we've come down this alley which seems to have nothing in it, but if you look there, there's a red keycard just kind of floating, but we can't get in there right now. So that's something to take note of. There's a nice secret here, which we can destroy yet more trash bags and trash cans. Nice bit of armor there for us to grab. And then you get these phone boxes.
Hi, you've reached the voicemail of... If you're not here to ruin my vacation, leave a message after the beep. How the hell do I turn this thing off?
Yeah, so they've got the voice of Duke Nukem in this game. So I don't know how on the nose you like your references and your, you know, nostalgia, but that you can't really get much more than that. I kind of like that if you're observant, you can see those explosive barrels behind the desk here.
Hello, is this the Exterminator? Am I bugging you?
So yeah, this game has got a very similar style of humour to Duke Nukem as well. But as we make our way into this little shop area, you can see that this is a charging bull, and you know it's obviously going to hurt us if we take damage from it, so we want to get rid of it. It's a bit of a tanky boy as well, so best to not let him get too many hits in on us. You can see we can look out the window there, and we can destroy various things in the environment here. $5.99. But you can also play like little arcade games here. Now, in this demo, there's only one game that I'm aware of, and it's this one. It's quite fun actually. It's quite a nice little sort of addictive side-scrolling shooter here. You basically have to stop the enemies from hitting the barrier behind you, and if you don't, then you know you fail. And you can see we've got air vents here, which leads us into the back room, which is stashed with some goodies that we can make good use of. So you can see very clearly that there's a lot going on here. There's a lot to explore, and if you keep your eyes open, there's a lot of breadcrumbs that kind of lead you to areas where you might not otherwise want to go. Like, for example, down there, you can see that's a fully formed alleyway. And you're probably thinking, like, well, how do we get there? Don't worry, we'll find out in time. Unfortunately, there's no sewer. So, you know, you didn't take that inspiration from Duke Nukem. So, the enemies in this game are these kind of cockroach-type enemies here. And I'm going to be honest, they're a bit dumb. So, it's not difficult to kind of outsmart them. Just kind of hide behind a bit of cover, and they'll sort of just try to run up to you. So, this is how you get to that alleyway that we were looking at earlier on. You can see there's a nice little firefight back here. So the enemies here will sort of run in line with you and then take their shot, and I get they're meant to be like the cannon fodder enemies, like the zombie men, but it's you know,
Awesome.
they can be a bit smarter than that, let's be honest, like, because they do kind of just run up to you and kind of just shoot at you blankly.
Caller, this is KTIT. You're on the air. Hello? God, I've had it with these prank calls.
So yeah, KTIT is another Duke Nukem reference. Yeah, this game really is not afraid.
Someone at the door. Boy, he's still there. Hey, friend, we don't want any. Hey, friend.
So yeah, there are quite a few interactive parts to this game. So if you kind of keep your eyes open and you sort of look around and have a sort of feel for where you're going, it's not that difficult to kind of spot the breadcrumbs and kind of find the little Easter eggs and such. You can also see that the level morphs here. I'm assuming that's supposed to be like an earthquake. I'm not saying the enemies are poor here, but what I am saying is like it wouldn't hurt them to be a bit smarter than they kind of are. So I'm kind of running out of bullets here, so I'm just going to make use of my mines here. Kaboom! We pick these up as secrets. They're not readily available to anyone who doesn't go down that alleyway, so it's pretty fun that you get to use those. You can see we're outside a hospital here. There's quite a few of these phone booths. Some of them are like that though and don't do anything. And they get ones like this.
Hi there. Oh, yeah, I'll totally deliver a pizza. What's your address?
And you can see again the level morphing there in front of us. So that skyscraper's fallen. We'll actually be kind of making our way in that direction. Bit of slick humor there, if you want to call it slick.
Gotta be something around here.
I am a fan of the level design here. I like that kind of you can see areas where you'll be exploring ahead. I also like that there's kind of, it is pushing you in a direction, but it's not kind of dragging you in only that direction. You can kind of go off the beaten path if you look and see where you're going. For example, you can wander over here and pick up some armor, which is never a bad thing. Some fun little billboards there.
Hey, listen, I really can't talk right now. I'm under can. Just call back later, alright? Give me like 5 minutes. I'm sorry. Bye.
So, I mean, the nice little Easter eggs, and they certainly add a bit of flavour to this world, which is always a good thing in my opinion. As we make our way into the lobby here, you can kind of see there's a bunch of enemies, and this kind of shows off what I mean. Like, the enemies don't kind of hide on their own accord. They'll kind of run up to you and make themselves as big as possible. So a lot of these firefights just kind of come down to you finding cover and, you know, getting rid of the body count. But I do like how once you kind of reach certain points, the levels kind of let you go back fairly easily, so it's never like a straight line. You can kind of deviate. Again, $5.99 and a nice computer terminal there. And yes, you can play with the lights in some of these rooms, which is appreciated. So we're going to be heading up to the next floor here. I'm going to make use of this just because I want to see how the game handles me overusing these. So you can see another arcade machine there and some jank cola, if that's what you're into. Let's see if I can break these lifts. So we've hit the switch there, it's gone back down, and the other one has come up here with a health pack in it, so that's actually pretty useful for us. Not all these doors are useful, so it's worth kind of checking just in case any of them turn out to be secrets. But yes, you can kind of take a nice look at the view around here and try to smash the glass there. You can take in the vistas of the level. There's a lot of nice details in the background. Like, it does feel like a very lived in world, which I appreciate. Not quite sure what was going on here. In terms of like, was this a murder scene? Kind of looks like it because it was taped off for the police. So this is kind of a small elevator puzzle. You have to bring that elevator down and then we have to head up. So that is what we're going to do here.
Now I know what a microwave dinner feels like.
So if you want to head back into the main level, you can go that way, or we can go this way, which leads us up here and leads us to another opening which is even higher up. So you can see here, this is quite linear because it's basically pushing you onto the roof of that sort of walkway that we saw earlier on. So you can actually see onto the rooftops of all the buildings here, which is a nice touch. I am convinced you can get over to some of those, but trying to figure that out is going to take some time. I do like the pistol in this game. It is kind of accurate at a distance, so it does kind of double up as a nice little sniper sort of weapon if you're in a pinch like that. So this is another secret. We're in an apartment here.
Is this the Payne residence? Oh, no? Terribly sorry. Must have the wrong number.
So there are some fun little deviations you can take, and this leads back to the fire exit that we were looking at earlier on when we picked up the key card from below. So you can look back onto the street below and see how far we've come, or you can drop down there if you really want to, although I wouldn't recommend it because it's kind of a bit of a walk back up here. So you can see here we can't really go in there. Oh, who's shooting me? You can't blow that up, but it doesn't actually blow the wall up, which is a bit of a shame. As said, the AI in this is not the brightest, so that's one thing I do kind of hope they fix when this eventually does get to retail. This is a small tease for the inevitable swimming portions of the game. I'm not sure that enemy's supposed to be active in there, but he's running around waiting for us to open up,
Key card.
which we can because we do not have the red key card right now. But you can see here, we're actually in some offices that overlook the area where we started and the building that was destroyed over there. So this level does kind of snake around on itself and kind of doubles back, which is pretty interesting. Like, they've obviously put some thought into how to try to make the most of this area, which I appreciate. It's not just like a big straight line.
You bastards.
Take out these enemies here. So we get a ground view on the road that we were on earlier on. So now that we've got the blue key, we can actually head back up top and continue our journey through the level. I said red key card earlier, but I actually meant blue key card. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of enemy varieties they end up putting in the final version of this. And you can see that you can blow up fire hydrants, so they're not safe in this game either. They'll take you down before you become a problem. So we get our hands on the Uzi here. So what's interesting is that some of these weapons actually have secondary fire. So if you click the other mouse button, you can actually unlock the sort of more powerful variant, but it does kind of use a lot more ammo in the process, so it's kind of pick your poison in that case. We're not doing too well for health here. Nice little burger joint here. Another thing I would probably put in the suggestion pile is maybe inside some of those trash bags and canisters, it's because there's so many of them in the level, I would probably put some stuff in them just to incentivize people to actually break them, because otherwise they're just kind of there for decoration, which is fun. But like in Duke Nukem, sometimes when you destroy them, you get ammo or health or other little goodies. You can see here as well we're doubling back to where the level started. Pick up the shotgun shells there. So we can't actually enter any of these apartments, unfortunately. So we got the red key card that we saw earlier on, which means that we are basically back at the start of the level here. So in terms of level design, it's very hard to be critical of a level that makes such effective use of the space. You can sort of come back and, you know, with all the weapons that you've got, you can probably go into these secret areas that you didn't want to go into earlier on. And I like that. I think that's pretty neat. For me, games like this live and die by the level design, and it's fine having a great opening level, it's fine having a good second level, but you've got to carry the consistency of these levels all the way through a campaign. And when you can't have the best graphics and when you can't have the best sort of gameplay mechanics because you're kind of inspired by those 90s first-person shooters which were clunky and had chunky controls and such, you kind of need to make the level design stand out, and this makes a very good first impression in my opinion. You can see some enemies have spawned in here, which I'm always a fan of because it's doubling up the use of this space and kind of making more for the player to do in these spaces. They're not just empty once you've left them. Some of these spaces are getting reused. But overall, I'm a fan of the aesthetic here. I think it captures that kind of Duke Nukem blood feeling very nicely. I'm just seeing here if I can get on top of the roof, because when I play these kind of games I like to see if I can sort of break them slightly. I don't think we can get on the roof there, so we're going to go into the red keycard door here. But yeah, I do like the level design here. I think that if they can carry this level of consistency through a whole campaign, this will actually be pretty fun in my opinion. Obviously with more enemy varieties and weapons, and you can put more enemies into the levels and such. I think there's a strong basis here for a fun experience. So you can see here we're doing some first person platforming, and you know, it's not my favourite thing to do in these first person shooter games, but of course it has to be here because you have to put the variety in, and it was a part of those games. So as we make our way through this fallen building, you can kind of see everything's on its side, which I do like actually. So we'll head out here. We'll actually go back because there's an area here which you can kind of go back to explore. So if you look down, that's actually where we were earlier on. That's just outside the hospital and such. There's nothing down that alleyway, unfortunately. But there's little references and nods everywhere here. So if you're keen of eye, you'll be very, very happy with what you're seeing here. As we make our way around this corner, there's a small flurry of enemies here that we're going to be dealing with. Luckily, I've been saving the Uzi ammo, so it's pretty easy to kind of take all these guys out. And yeah, that's pretty much the level here. As you can kind of tell, I like the level design here. I think that's the strongest aspect to this game. It's got a nice sense of humour as well, and it'll be interesting to see how that gets crafted and how they mould that as they kind of finish the game and kind of add more levels to it, because obviously we don't want to hear the same jokes over and over and over, and especially in this day and age. Oh, hello. Oh, so he's supposed to ambush you as you go through the exit. That makes sense. You don't want to feel like it's just aping on, you know, 30-year-old games. You actually want it to have its own personality, and I get the sense that that might be a problem in the future if they don't kind of define what this game is meant to be. So you can see here you can't actually get over this bus, and if you look over there, there's no floor texture under those buildings, so I don't think they ever intended you to go out that way. But I like what I see here. There's a lot of potential, and I think that if crafted with the same kind of level of concentration and care, and the level design is kind of consistent, I think there's definitely something here. Now, I'd like to see a lot more variety in enemies. I'd like to see the enemies a bit smarter. I was playing on the hard difficulty here, and this is my second playthrough, so I didn't feel that it was that difficult. I feel there's a lot more scope for putting more enemies in. but that's just me personally. Maybe put a harder difficulty in than hard. But there's a nice solid basis here, and provided it develops its own identity and doesn't ape on Duke Nukem insanely, I think this could be a nice sort of successor to Duke Nukem, because it's pretty clear we're not getting another Duke Nukem game anytime soon. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought of this game. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you excited for the final release? And thank you very much for watching.